Hi everyone, I hope you're well. This is CoinsKid. Just come dive into XRP. Once again, thank you for support. Okay, big up the CoinsKid crew. So, when you melt through support, resistance, you always come back to it as resistance or support. It's something I taught you, which is this particular leg here, which is why we retrace to it. Okay, we've had that retest, big thumbs up. We're confirming it as resistance right now. Now, does this mean you've got another impulsive move to the downside? Possibly, okay, and if we have, then for me, XRP could be in a world of trouble. You're looking at a massive impulsive move to the downside. I will give you your minimal targets, but at that point, you could say, okay, well, it's not looking too clever, is it? If we do start to go down again from this point, and we start to put in another impulsive move down, if we start to come down and say, we're just going to bounce off this trend line right now, there's a touch, there's a touch, there's a touch, and if we start to come down like this and we have a mega crash here and we end up down there towards the end of the year, you can see what you've done is we trace extremely low to that, not necessarily losing it, but it would invalidate this particular pattern that I'm looking at, this broadening descending wedge, and all the validation of the low targets and the data driven targets here for XRP. One primarily is on the Gaussian channel just here. Whenever you've pierced this low channel of the Gaussian, it's always been maximum opportunity. It's never come up and gone lower. Do you understand? It's always come up into resistance, called up, and then eventually got to the median line of the Gaussian. So if you start to do this, historically, you're invalidating data and stuff in the charts right now that's telling us that this is what it's gearing up for. Obviously, there's a first time for everything. I'm not got a crystal ball. I can't guarantee anything, but at a minute, I have to pay attention to the data, and the data is the thing that's took us off this bottom and retraces all the way back into the lower channel of the Gaussian, okay, and this level of resistance that we didn't know, this support, that we've not necessarily back tested as resistance. So we're sort of confirming it right now that we are kind of retracing, coming up, resistance, support, we are confirming, without a biased view, this is just data, technical analysis, that we are kind of carving out a structure and we are on our way to the median line of the Gaussian, which currently sits at around about 74 cents. Well, you can say, okay, well, if we start to do that, I'm not necessarily saying that XRP is going to take off into space immediately, but if you do start to do something like this structurally and start to come up, you can see that you really are beginning to look really impulsive off these lows, okay? And it was the optimal entry point to get involved in XRP, because historical data tells us that whenever that happens on the Gaussian channel, coupled with the fact that XRP is in the floor on the RSI as well, really oversold down there, it's just never been a good opportunity. Okay, so far it is kind of playing out like it is, but we need to see the confirmation of that going forward by holding this structural bottom right now. Okay, and this is the ascending triangle, this is the structure of it, and this retracement that we're going to this level here, which is this neckline of resistance, now necessarily needs to be back tested as support. It's something I always teach on the channel, okay? So we're sort of confirming it, but not necessarily 100% yet. This one I'm trying to convey to you, okay? So like I said to you, big gaps in EMAs, over extension leads to retracement. Right now, we're getting that. Bulls make money, bears make money, pigs get slaughtered. Anyone looking to short this was a pig, basically, greed in the market, basically, like I said to you so many times. So, we need to see the confirmation going forward of a structural bottom. This one I'm trying to say to you before we get too excited. Now, there's a lot of people at this point was expecting some kind of massive parabola breakout and things like that, but you never see that from the bottom, okay? What you do, you create structure of a bottom, and then you start to go from there, because you're building up that level of confidence and accumulation that you're looking and geared up for the breakout. Now you can imagine if XRP, this is the bottom, you've got this final impulsive push for this correction, and you're doing something like this, you start to carve this out and hold these EMAs and these necklines over the next couple of months or whatever, and you start to come up and attack this resistance. You take out this resistance just there, so multi sort of, when did we get into that? Early last year, over a year resistance right now. We start to take that out. Yes, you could start to see some kind of big green candles up to these highs just there for XRP. So who knows? No one's got a crystal ball, have they? But I always try and show you what I see and just try and keep a level head in this sort of field, okay? So right now, let's jump onto the 5 minute and see if we can see anything, okay, for XRP. So looking at XRP on the 4-hourly time frame, then this particular retracement from this high, we traced all the way back down to this low. Okay, that swing high, do you see that? Beautiful. Okay, and right now this retracement from this side is retracing all the way to this low. Okay, so if you'd have lost this retracement to this low, you would have put an impulsive move to the downside. It was simply a retracement, okay? Then what's happened is you've come up and made a lower high here. So this is a concerning thing, because if this is rolling, this is beginning with an impulsive move to the downside. I think this retracement here bounced off the golden ratio, didn't it? It's something that we was anticipating. So from this low here all the way to the high, we came up and bounced off the golden ratio. Look at that, okay? So that's always a nominal level of resistance or support for XRP. Primarily, it does really like the 702.50, to be honest with you. I think that this retracement here down there to that low, actually bounced off a 702 fib from what I remember. We take a look, so from this high all the way down, boom, we found support on the 702 fib. So that was a good area to go long. I remember at the time saying it's a good area to go long. I posted it all over Twitter on the 702 fib and the 1618 fib as well. Boom. Stop loss on the 786. Look at that. So that's been a beautiful little trade up to the golden ratio. This is all about trading ranges basically for XRP. So at the minute, you know, we've got this high and this is the low. So we need to look at the retracement levels that we're going through for XRP from this high all the way to lows. Trouble with this mouse, from there to there, all the way down, boom, again. So you could be looking at a very similar scenario. It's just a good area to load up some bids on the 702 fib at 0443 with a stop loss on the 786, because you could start to look at some kind of impulsive push like this, okay, up into key resistance. Now if it does start to do that, in my opinion, what we've got is a horizontal, okay, some kind of big symmetrical triangle where you need to get some trend line touches on your charts from the wick to the wick. And then what we do, we go from there to there, and then we've got this sort of level of support just here as well. We use the wicks, support of that swing low, support at the moment. So you could say technically, you know, what we've done, we traced all the way to 702 fib, looking to bounce and hold its support to come back up. And what you're doing here from the lows, you've got swing high, swing low, swing high, swing low. That's found support on this swing high. So technically this is looking okay, providing you can hold this high, okay, providing you can hold this 1 fib, you're looking okay. If you start to come down below the 1 fib, what you've got is an impulsive move here. You're no longer retracing, looking for the continuation. You've actually got something called a reversal wave, which comes back down, loses a 1 fib, and you would be in a minimal target to the downside. So your minimal target would become the 1272 at 03946. So if you see XRP coming down and losing the support right now, okay, of this potential huge symmetrical triangle, which is possibly carving out and consolidating and looking for a trend direction, basically continuation of the breakout from the bottom. If it does break out, fantastic, but if it loses the support right now, this ascending level support, okay, which I can't give you because it's ascending obviously, but if you do start to see XRP coming down and losing these fibs, okay, which is 786 at 04357, then I think it increases the probability here of a short coming all the way down to retest these lows, okay. So come to your charts, draw these trend lines. At the minute, if you start to see XRP losing the 786 consistently, okay, which is roughly that sort of area there, 04357, you could actually go short, the opposite of going long on BitGet, with a stop loss on the 702 fib, okay, which is at 04432 to minimize your risk, and you could be looking at a big short all the way down around about 12% to retest that 03811, which is always on the radar because you've melted through support. Do you understand? As resistance, basically, you've melted through resistance without back testing support, and I've gone through this with you, this scenario. If we see it and it comes back and it holds that support and carves out a bottom, then you know you're structurally looking okay going forward. I wish I could tell you 100% that you're going to do, but I can't, okay. So that would be a minimal target if you do start to see XRP coming down below 043 and losing the support of 706 fib and 786 fib, sorry, and you start coming down through these fibs and losing this horizontal, ascending level support, this potential horizontal that you're carving out for continuation. If you do start to lose all this and come down below the 1 fib, you're down there on that 03811, and that's how you get there basically. So again, the opposite of that is if you start to carve out this bottom here, start to come up, get back through these EMAs and take out this descending level resistance, I think you've got a beautiful long in front of you up to around about 60 cents, and I've gone through this with you before. So I'll always show you every scenario. So it's just a game of Fibonacci, support and resistance. You've got support, you've got resistance, okay. Usually in these patterns you do usually see 3 trend line touches before trend direction. So for me, you've got your 3 levels of support right now of a horizontal, okay, you've got your 2 levels of resistance for a horizontal. So if this will start to come up and it takes out that, okay, or rolls again obviously, then this is a very tradable event on BitGet or Bybit, entirely up to you which platform you use. But what we're looking at is a very tradable event here, because if this starts to come down and loses the support right now, you've got a retest of that, which is a monster short. And if you break this, all you got to do is come to your charts and drop the fibs on, and you can see, I could tell you straight away, if you start to break that level of resistance that's coming down on us from the 1 fib all the way to the high, you would be looking at a minimal breakout target of 60 cents for XRP, which would be a monster long, wouldn't it? So this is why I always try and find you the best opportunities with minimal risk. So right now you could load up longs on the 702 fib if you think this is some kind of symmetrical triangle looking for continuation, and the market's bullish. If it is, you're looking at a minimal trade of around about 35% for XRP, aren't you? When I was really fearful, with a potential loss of around about 2.5 3% on 786 fib. Do you understand? So that's how it all works. It's trading the ranges. So you understand that update. Like I said to you, price compression leads to expansion. We're calling up. Something's happening here. If we start to break this level of resistance, beautiful long to 1272. If we lose this support, this is where we are going to come down and retest this 03811, which is a key level support, which if it holds, fantastic. You're carving at that bottom right there, okay? But what do I anticipate? I don't know, honestly. I wish I could tell you what I do think is going to happen, but I can't. It's support and resistance. I hope you understand that right now, okay? It would be lovely to see this. I think if we was to see this breakout, okay, and take out that 1 fib and we come up to the 1272, I would anticipate a larger correction at some point coming back down to that level of resistance. Now back tested support in that scenario. It would look extremely bullish going forward if we was to see that, to be honest with you. Okay, so hope you enjoyed that update. I'll give you all your support and resistance targets, but right now, personally, what am I doing? I'm looking to go long on the 702 fib. Loading up my longs on the 702 fib. Let me give you these levels right now, okay? So loading up the longs, 702 fib at 04432 with my stop loss on the 786 at 04357, because if we do get the bounce here, what we've done is we've equally bounced off a 702 fib like we bounced there, and what we're doing, we're running into this resistance, which, like I said to you, you do usually see 3 resistance touches in, whether or not it's a descending triangle or whatever, with 3 levels of support as well, because the market moves in waves, okay? So it looks as though it's geared up for that. So from here right now, just for the retest of that resistance before it makes its mind up, could actually be a lovely little long of around about 6.4%, okay? Trade in the ranges, ride the waves. This is what I teach you. Can all be done on BitGet. They've got an amazing 8k sign-up bonus as well right now. Take advantage of that CoinsKid community. Take care. Back to another XRP update. Stay healthy, stay strong, stay tuned. Bye-bye.